Hi everyone! I hope you're having a good week. I hope that you weren't devastated by the news that schools are going to remain closed for the rest of the year. Us at Fun Van were pretty sad about it this morning. So we're all in kind of a weird mood, but we're very excited to be sharing with you step 2 today. Side note, if you need a step book, go ahead and message us on Facebook and give us your address and we'll mail one out to you. I'll repeat this at the end of our lesson too for anyone who's missing it, but anyone who needs a step book, go ahead and message us, give us your address, and we will send it to you so you can follow along with the lessons or, sorry, I got distracted, or follow along with the lessons or read ahead or read back after I've gone through everything. So today we are talking about understanding young children's behavior. And to understand our children's behavior, we have to talk about our belief systems in our family and where our children's beliefs come from. So our kids' beliefs come primarily from us as parents, and what's important in our family. And every family has different things that are important to them. Your family might think family is the most important thing, or nature, or love, or religion, or science. However that looks, you're going to put your beliefs onto your children. And they are going to take that and keep that with them even as new beliefs come into their world from friends and school and learning. But their core beliefs are going to happen from you and what you value in your family at this time. They also come from what you say and do. So I always give the example that if you tell your children lying is not okay and not appropriate, but then you lie to them about things, even small things like, oh, no, I don't know what happened to all the Oreos, or, I don't know how your toys just disappeared in the middle of the night. Your kids will figure out that you're lying, and that tells them, hey, even though mom says it's not okay to lie, it is because she lies too. So think about that when you're talking about your beliefs and what's important to you. You have to act that out as well. It can't be do as I say, not as I do. It has to be both. Your style of parenting also influences your child's belief. If you are very authoritative and your kids have to follow your rules all the time and they don't have choices, that's going to influence their belief in themselves and what roles in families are. But if you give your kids choices and let them make decisions, then they learn how to cooperate and be part of a family unit, and then that transfers into school and work and things in the future. Your child's place in the family also influences their beliefs. We talk a lot about birth order in our families, and birth order isn't the end-all be-all. You can have a firstborn child that acts like an only child, or the baby of the family who acts like a middle child. It's not an exact science, but birth order does play a role. That firstborn children tend to be leaders, they tend to be more helpful, they tend to do better in school, in sports, and different things like that. Middle children secondborn, I should say, after the first, tend to be opposite of how firstborn children are. That they're trying to create their own identity separate from their older sibling, and that affects them as well. Only children, I think, get a bad rap, and as an only child, I think only children are fabulous, and we are not all spoiled and selfish. But when you don't have to share toys and you get a lot more attention and items because you're an only child, that does affect your worldview. Babies also have a hard time, and Miss Ashley always teases me because I call my youngest the baby. She's like, she's not a baby anymore. She's 3. Stop. She's my baby. So it's very hard for me not to say, oh, baby, come here, because I definitely baby my baby. But that influences how she acts. So she definitely cries more than my oldest. She definitely gets a lot more help from me and a lot more coddling from me than my oldest does, because she is the baby of my family, and that's how her role is in my family right now. I'm trying to be better about it, though. Your child will see their place in your family, and they will react to where they are in that. So whether it's they have more responsibility and they rise to it because they're the oldest, whether it's I cry because I'm the baby of the family and my mom will hug me and kiss me and do anything she can to make it better. However that is that adds into their belief system. So the more you play into that, the more set that will be for them. Your child's place will change throughout life too, whether it's through the birth of another child, a divorce, a new marriage, different things like that. When older siblings move out of the house, birth order can change, and it's very fluid. It's not set in stone. So our kids behave how they do for a variety of reasons. So I'm going to ask a question. So anyone who's on, try to, if you've already been through Fun Band, or reflect on your own experiences. Why do our kids misbehave? What are some reasons? Miss Ashley is going to shout out things to me. Well, maybe not shout. She's not very much of a shouter, but...
So, while we're waiting for some responses, Ash says, hi, we miss you guys. Tracy Taylor says, hi, Miss Ryan. And she says she also calls Rune her baby. He'll always be my baby. And she says, truth, Rune acts like my baby even if I don't call him my baby.
Yes. And Miss Tracy and I are on the same page with our 3-year-old babies and how they act. And they have pretty much the same personality. So, whose child misbehaves when they're hungry? Whose child gets hangry? We have some hands going up with their educators. What about when... Yes, I do too. What about when they're tired? My kids, when they are tired, my oldest is the absolute worst when she's tired. She is pretty much the most perfect child when she's had a full night's sleep and she's good, but when she starts hitting the wall of tiredness, I kind of just want to run away from her because she like melts down and she's super dramatic and she throws huge fits. But any other time she's perfect. Like, she needs sleep, and like sleep is the worst thing to her, so it's a big struggle. What other times? Oh,
Monica said her child gets upset too when I can't tell if it's hungry or sleepy though.
And sometimes that's hard to tell, like especially at the end of the night when you're about to have dinner and you're going to get ready for bed, that sometimes those things mix in, that they can be both hungry and tired, and then it's like an explosion of emotions in your house, right?
And then Ash said if they don't feel right, they can't act right.
If they don't feel right, they can't act right. Absolutely. So it might not even be that they're tired or hungry. They might just be feeling a little sick. Right now is a perfect example of kids are not acting the way they normally do because now they're home, they're quarantined, they're not seeing their friends at school, or they're not going out to do activities, and they're home with just you guys all day. I mean, and that changes the dynamic of your family and how your kids act. And so those are some factors of why our kids seem like they're misbehaving. That's not true misbehavior, though. There is true misbehavior, and we're going to talk about that right now. Misbehavior is purposely trying to do something for a reason, and we'll get into the reasons. There are things that when your 1-year-old drops cereal or their cup off the side of their high chair, thank you, that's not misbehavior. They're not like, haha, I'm going to take this cereal and make mom clean it up. Yes! That's not misbehavior. That's like, look, I have this cereal, and look, it falls to the ground. And then, oh my gosh, my mom comes and she cleans it up, and she gives me attention, and it's so amazing, and look at all the things that I can do. So sometimes when your child takes all the toys out of the toy box and makes a huge mess, they're like, I'm trying to find this one specific toy, or let's see what we can do. That's not always misbehavior. True misbehavior is when your child does something in order to obtain one of the goals that we're going to talk about. Attention is one. Who here has been on the phone or has to do something for work or for another reason, so you need 5 minutes to just make this call or do this one thing on the computer, and suddenly your child, who was calmly playing with blocks and being super sweet, then is like, Mom, 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 Mom. Oh my gosh, sister's touching me. This is happening right now. Oh, I'm super hungry. I need a snack. And they start crying and freaking out. So Has that happened to anyone? Because anytime I make a phone call, my kids like become different people and they suddenly need all my attention, and the scratch from 3 weeks ago that you can't even see anymore totally hurts and definitely needs a Band-Aid right this second. And no, not that llama Band-Aid. It needs to be an Anna and Elsa one. So kids need our attention, and right now we are the center of their world and they need attention from us. So sometimes it's really hard to say, hey guys, I just need 5 minutes to make this phone call, or I need to do something real quick. Can you play quietly? Because our kids want our attention focused on them. And when they're doing that, it's not, they're misbehaving on purpose to get your attention. And so if you can give positive attention before that, after that, that helps curb it. You'll probably feel annoyed because you're trying to do something and your kid's like, Mom, 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 Mom. That's annoying. Absolutely. And you'll be like, hey, I just need a few more minutes. You'll give them reminders or cues to say, like, just let me finish this and then we'll come back to it. And your child's misbehavior may stop, and then when they need attention again, it will come back. So keep that in mind, that the more positive attention you give your kids, the less negative attention that they'll seek and the less misbehavior that you'll have. Power is another reason that your children misbehave. If your child never has choices and they're never given an opportunity to make their own decisions, you're going to get into power struggles with them. And honestly, even if you do give them a lot of choices, and there are times that you will have power struggles with your children, it tends to be a little bit more older. So babies, you're never going to have a power struggle with. We're talking more like toddlers, preschoolers, and then really it doesn't end ever. So that's okay. If you say, hey, go put on pants, a t-shirt, and sneakers because we're going to the park, and your child wants to wear shorts, flip-flops, and a tutu, that might not be appropriate for the weather. And then you get into a power struggle of, no, you have to wear pants because it's cold out, and you have to wear sneakers so you don't get wood chips in your shoe and get a splinter. And your child, I don't want to wear that. And so then misbehavior starts, a tantrum starts because of that. There are times that you can't say, there are things that you can't power struggle with. Your kids have to be in car seats and they have to be buckled up. Your kids have to wear clothing that's appropriate for the season or whatever it is. But you can give choices in that and say you can wear this pair of pants or this pair of pants. You can wear these sneakers or these sneakers. Oh, sorry there. I'm crazy with my hand motions. It's okay. But if you give in to your kids, the more they will fight you on things when they don't get their way. So don't give in, give choices, or let them deal with the consequences. If it's something that's not going to hurt them, if they need to wear pants but it's not freezing outside and you're like, okay, well, you're going to be cold and we might have to leave early, and they wear shorts, that's appropriate. As long as they're not getting hurt or nothing terrible is going to happen, let them deal with the natural consequences of their decision. And then remind them, next time they go to the park, you have to wear pants. Remember, we had to leave early because you were too cold last time? That's why I'm asking you to wear pants this time. Revenge. Your toddler comes up to you and says they want a cookie for breakfast. And you say, nope, we're going to eat some fruit and some toast for breakfast. And they say, you're the meanest mommy ever. Your child is seeking revenge. Again, revenge comes as the older your child gets. Some of you may have never experienced your child yelling, you're the meanest mommy ever, or I hate you. Some of you very much have. The more we react to our child saying, you're the meanest mommy ever, or I hate you, and you go, oh, no, oh my gosh, my little baby just told me they hate me, and no, and you freak out. What did they get from you? They got a big reaction, and they're going to keep saying things like that in order to do this. When your child wants revenge, you're going to feel hurt, you're going to feel angry. You may try to get even. You may say, well, you're the worst kid ever, or I don't like you very much either. Just don't do that. You'll want to because it's human nature. Please don't. Your child will seek more revenge the more you give into that. And you can say, I'm sorry that you feel that I'm the meanest mommy ever, but I love you and we need to eat a healthy breakfast. We can try having a cookie later. Or maybe once you've calmed down, we can discuss when you could have a cookie, but it's not happening right now. Your child also will throw fits and get really upset when they're displaying inadequacy. So our kids are learning so much the first 5 years of life. They're learning to eat, to walk, to run, to jump, skip, hop. They're learning to write, color, build things. And I know with my own kids, we will be doing a coloring project, and I'll stay in the lines because, well, I won't say how many years I've been coloring, but it's been a lot, well over 30. And my daughter will sometimes be like, you color so much better than I do. Yeah, I have 30 more years of practice than you do in coloring, so I am much better at it. And that's something that we need to remind our kids on, that it's okay to not be great at something, and it takes practice and it takes time, and that we don't have to have a meltdown every time something doesn't go our way. We don't need to throw fits, and we don't need to throw things, and then we don't need to crumple our paper or whatever it is. But understand that they're having a hard time. It's hard. I always give the example of the first time I went golfing. I thought I was going to be the next female Tiger Woods. I thought golfing doesn't look that hard. You take a ball and you hit it and it flies up in the air and then you make it into a hole. And I was terrible. I never golfed again, by the way, because I was so bad at it and I wasn't good. But our kids think that, like, oh, I see everyone coloring. They're doing a great job. I can do that. And then they're really upset when they can't do that. So help your kid through it. Help them keep trying. Give encouragement. Encouragement helps, not praise. We'll talk more about that later. But encourage your kid to keep trying at things, and that will help them from misbehaving when they're feeling inadequate. Let's see. On the flip side, be positive with your kids. Try to prevent misbehavior before it happens. If you know that you're going to be busy cooking dinner and your kid throws a fit every time you cook dinner because they need to be held and their attention's off you, involve your child. I personally have a very hard time cooking with my children because they take so long and then they make a mess, and it's very, very difficult for me to let my children cook or bake with me. But on the flip side, I know how important it is for them developmentally. I know that it helps us as a family bond and we're able to do things together. The more you involve children in things, the better it is for everyone overall. Yes, there may be more dishes. Yes, you might have to do more cleanup. Yes, you might have to start a new batch because your child sticks their whole hand in it, licks it, and then sticks their hand in it again, and no one wants that. Those might be things that happen. But your child is learning, they're doing something with you, it's all good. And it will keep them from throwing a fit and misbehaving when you're trying to do something. Give your kid independence. We all want independence. I think right now, the hardest thing for me with the coronavirus is that I can't do what I want when I want. Like, I can't just run to Target and touch all the things. Or I can't get together with a group of friends and go out for coffee or whatever. Like, I don't have that choice right now. So that's very hard on me. Now think about our kids where we make all the decisions for them all the time. It's hard on them when we don't give them any choices, that we don't let them have some independence. You can't always helicopter parent your kids. They have to have some instances where they can make mistakes or do things that maybe you think are a little too advanced for them. And if they fail, then that's okay. That's a teaching lesson. And if they do well, that's great too. Give your kids a chance to really do things on their own, and that will help. Fairness. Fairness is one that's kind of hard. We all want things to be fair, right? I mean, as adults we do, and kids see that, and sometimes they don't understand that life is not fair and that we can't always make things equal. And so kids will throw a fit like, oh, sister got 2 cookies and I only got 1. Explaining, but you had fruit snacks earlier. So you're still getting the same amount of sugar as your sister, but she's getting 2 cookies instead of fruit snacks. Or your sister last night, my daughter was using a knife on her bagel, and she's almost 6, and so I felt that was appropriate. Then my 3-year-old, who would totally not pay attention and maybe stab herself in the arm with it, got really upset that she couldn't use a knife because she feels like she's big too. And so that was very hard. But explaining, when you're 5, you'll have the chance to do this, and right now sister's shown that she is responsible and can use this knife right now, and you will get a chance to do that, because that's sometimes hard. make sure your kids know that they are capable of doing things. This kind of ties in with being independent and involvement and encouragement, that your kids are capable of a lot more than you give them credit for, at least developmentally. Like you'd be surprised how many kids can get dressed at 1.5, or serve their own food, or help you crack eggs, all these different things, and give them a chance to show that and to prove themselves, and that will make them feel more capable, and they'll feel better about when they do have some inadequacies. Any questions about anything I've talked about?
So Monica, in regards to attention, she said that when she is doing household chores in the morning, Liam wants her attention, so she stops what she's doing and plays with him. Then she can go back to doing whatever she was doing when he is okay. And Ash responded to that it's a great time to involve him in the chores.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Tracy Taylor offered to share Rune if anyone needs help learning about revenge. And then Tracy also said that when kids help make their food, that they are more likely to eat what they cook too.
Ooh, I like that. If kids, I don't know if everyone can hear that, but if kids help make their food, they're more likely to eat it. I know that having picky eaters is such a problem for so many parents, that kids are very particular. As a picky eater, I understand. And sometimes saying like, hey, what do you want to eat? Like, let's make this together. If they have to put work in, they are more likely to eat it. Involving your kids in chores. I started chores with my kids when they were 1, and it was simple stuff like feed the dog some dog food. Now, it wasn't my child's responsibility to feed our dog. A 1-year-old cannot have that responsibility. I would say a 10-year-old probably shouldn't have that responsibility solely on them. But there's little things that your kids can do. They can dust. You might have to go back over it later, or you might have to just be okay with spots being missed. But the more you can involve your child, the better it is. And they can start small and they can start young. And there's not things that every child, you can't like expect your 3-year-old to clean the bathroom with bleach. But you can ask them to wipe down the counter or to put the towels in the laundry, different things like that. Absolutely. Anything else? Well, thank you guys all for joining us. Remember, if you need a lovely step book, we will gladly mail one out to you. Just send us a message on Facebook and we will send that out ASAP. If you have any other questions, go ahead and comment below. I will answer them, and I will probably add some things on beliefs and what values you hold in your family to the comments below, so I will give some resources that go along with this lesson. I hope you have a great day. Thanks, everyone.